All right, boys and girls of YouTube, bringing you another top 5 video. I figure I want to crank these out before I get into everything else that I want to do, because you guys are asking so many questions. Before we get into it, Smite source, junglers are almost fully updated, and then hunters are updated, and then mages, ADC mages, so Sol, Chronos, Freya, and Oleron are all updated. The hunter builds, including the mage hunter builds, are all pretty much jacked and stolen from Panda Cat. And there are also builds I've seen a lot of other people running. I think it was someone from Sanguine running similar builds. I don't know. I've seen a bunch of people running very similar builds. They're very strong builds. So go grab those. I will have Soul Lane builds uploaded very soon. This is a Soul Lane video. What we're going to do is jump into it. I'm going to tell you the top 5 from number 5 to number 1. And then we're just going to work our way around through there, the builds, and all that good stuff. I'm not a Soul Laner, so sadly I won't have gameplay for this stuff. So we're just going to crank through it, try to get it done real fast without too much filler time. Number 5 is going to be... Number 5 is going to be Thor. Thor is was doing well before in the Soul Lane, and he's doing just as good right now. The build is going to be very straightforward. Your Warrior's Blessing. We're going to go Teleport as our main relic. And then your second relic is going to be whatever you really need it to be. It's going to be game to game based. Some games you might need an Aegis. Some games you might need beads. Some games you might get shell. Some games you might get shield of thorn. You might get thorns. It just depends on what's happening. Depends on what you are doing in that match. Most of the time, beads and Aegis are going to be pretty good for you to just play like a carry-esque Soul Laner. You're not building like a carry. You're just playing that role of doing a lot of damage, being in and out, and being disruptive. So, first item. Gonna be boots. Warrior tabby boots can allow you to clear in lane. Fantastic, beautiful, all that stuff. Second item is gonna be breastplate of valor. Give you the CDR you need while giving you the physical defense. This is assuming you're against a physical god in the lane. If you're against magical, you're gonna be looking at something like Genji's or just whatever, runic, onside. Depends on what you're playing against. More than likely, it's going to be a runic if you're looking for that power. So physical god you're playing against, magical god you're playing against. It does change up a bit if you are going against a magical god, because you got to get the CDR elsewhere instead of getting the flat 20% from breastplate. Next up is going to be Sledge. Sledge is broken. Shouldn't be really all that much of a surprise. The item is just super overtuned right now. Eventually we're going to see it get a nerf. I don't know why this keeps scrolling up. It's not me, I promise. It did it yesterday. Sledge into Genji's. Get some magic defense online. Get more CDR. So with this, you're sitting at 30% CDR. And then you can grab a red potion in the end game to round out your CDR, get the 40% you need. Next up, we're getting a little bit of damage. So they nerfed the cost of Heartseeker. Oh, they didn't. I lied. This was... No, yeah, they did. It was 3,100. So they nerfed the cost of... I'm trolling. They nerfed the cost of Heartseeker, which makes it even better for Soul Laners to get because it's a little bit cheaper. Soul Laners were already building it in the last patch. And then they added 10% pen. So late game, this item is really good for you. Just all around, depending on who you're killing, especially if they're sitting around anyone with auras. If you're going on a mage and he's got the support by him, Heartseeker is gonna have a lot of value for you. And then in the final slots, falls into whatever you personally need for your build. Void Shield is going to be really good because your team is not going to have a Void Shield. Most junglers are not building Void Shield anymore, at least right this second, till we see item nerfs. So Void Shield would be good. A Magi's cloak would be good. The little shieldy shield cloak, if you guys don't know what I'm talking. Oh, yeah, Magi's cloak. I said it right, dude. I'm all over the place today. Anything you really need to just stay alive or to do a little bit more damage. So these would be your core items right here. Shouldn't be that surprising. And then, as I mentioned, if you're grabbing Void here, because that's what you want to round the build out with. Your Warriors tabby can be a little bit more defense, can be a little bit more damage. Just another preference to the match as to what's happening. If you're going against a hunter with crit, you might want to grab a spectral armor instead of the Void Shield. And then over boots, you sell boots for the Void Shield. You got a lot of options. Just got to pay attention to the builds. As any kind of frontline Soul Laner support, have to pay attention to those things. So like I said, if this ends up you need to get the spectral armor because they have crits, then you can go over here and you can grab yourself the Void Shield. And then they also did change, I'm just going to go over all this stuff now and then we'll crank through the other gods. They also changed Nemean, so you get 2 block stacks. So if you are going against a bunch of hunters or you're going on hunters, Nemean's not a bad option if you're looking for that 1v1 trade because of the 2 blocks. But realistically, you're gonna be looking at a build like this as a full build when you sell boots. Teleport glyph, we talked about relics, normal stuff. Off the rip, off the starts, On Thor, you are trying to get boots online as soon as possible, so you can start boots 1, health pots, and you're good to go. There's Thor. There's number 5 on the list. Shouldn't be too surprising, to be honest. He was already being played. And then number 4 on the list is going to be another assassin, which is kind of shit to begin with. It's Set is number 4 on our list, but Set went through some changes, does a lot of damage, does really well in a meta where sustain isn't the core. Sustain still is an option. We're going to talk about that in a minute since we're only on number 4, but sustain is not what you have to have every game. Oh, it didn't scroll down yet. All right, so once again, Warrior's Blessing here. Relic wise, you're probably gonna get a teleport just so you can move around the map and get to your lane and not be fucked up. It just makes it easier for you. And then your other relic is going to be completely situational. Once again, it's gonna be an Aegis, it's gonna be beads, it's gonna be Shield of Thorns. Thorns does really well in Set because you're in their face for an extended period of time. So something like Thorns does well, Shell upgraded does well. For this, I'll just throw in a Thorns, assuming you're diving a hunter, because that's what Set does really, really well at. Warrior's Blessing again, and then we're gonna go into Warrior's Boots again, and then as the next item comes around, it's gonna shift. We're not gonna do a Breastplate Rush quite yet. We're gonna grab Berserker Shield, which got buffed in the patch. Now it's power, physical defense, attack speed, physical penetration, and then you have a good passive. This item's gonna be really good for you in lane to trade and poke and fight a little bit more than everyone's really willing to do right now because of the lack of sustain. You still have Warrior's Blessing sustain. Next up is going to be that Breastplate of Valor. Once again, this is against physical gods, against magical gods. You're going to shift it up a bit. You're going to go into the runic, and then you're probably going to look at getting the berserkers right after. You're just going to move the whole build forward one. Right after that, we are going to go into our magic defense. And it's gonna be a little bit different here. We're going to go Oni Hunter's Garb. Once again, you're in people's faces for a long time. You just want to be able to keep going, which is going to be the 20% CCR is going to help you do that. If they don't have much magic damage, you can throw a sledge here first, because your next item up is going to be that sledge. The sledge is just too good. And with this, you're getting 40% CCR. You're not CC'd very much. You're able to sit in their face. Even if you're going on mage, you got a little bit of magic defense, you got the health, you got everything you need. And then final item is going to be that Void Shield. Because like I said, junglers aren't picking up Void Shield right now. So Void is going to be great for you. Sell boots. So this can shift just on Thor, just like on Thor. You have your core items. Get to the end. This could be a spectral armor, and then you can sell boots for Void. If they have crit, that's an option. If they don't have crit, you can just look at whatever it is you need. You can pick up a little bit more damage. You can pick up a little bit more penetration. Whatever you personally need in that game. By this point, once you're 6 items deep, you can tell. If you're able to die for a long time, then maybe some more damage. If you're dying, maybe a little bit more defense. This item can become whatever you need it to be. Kind of hard to fuck up the build at this point because you have such a good core build and nothing to worry about. On Thor, I didn't talk about the ability leveling. It's pretty much the same as anytime you're going to level up the hammer. So you have clear, you're going to level up to 3, you're going to level up to 2, you're going to level up the ults, and then you'll have your CC and everything you need. On Set, from what I still understand, still going to be maxing the 1 because that's going to be your clear. Your 2 now scales off of your 1's damage. It's really kind of just strange how they made everything work. But basically, the spawn of Set, once it's full build, once you're in the late game, it does a lot of damage. It does a lot, but in the early game, it does a little bit less, about the same pretty much. So you're gonna be maxing your 1, your 2, your 3, and your ultimates. Before, you weren't leveling the 3 because the dash damage didn't scale there, or sorry, you weren't leveling your 2. There's no reason to level your 2. Now there is. So 1, 2, 3, ult. Boom, good to go. There's sensibility leveling. There's your number 4 on the list. Number 3 on the list, we're gonna finally go into the Warriors. People keep trying to say Warriors are dead. They're not. You see them in almost every single rank game, almost every single match in general. Number 3 on the list is gonna be Tyr, your god builder. Same stuff, different week. You're going teleport and you're going blink. Blink is really core on Tyr. Most of you know that. You play the god, you've seen the god, whatever it may be, you know what you need to build. We are still getting a starter item, grabbing Warrior's Blessing. We are grabbing Warrior Tabi, still very, very strong. And we are grabbing Breastplate of Valor. You need the CDR, you need the defense. Once again, if it's a magical, you can grab Runic and then push forward the rest of the build. So Runic here, Breastplate, just move the whole build forward. And then we got a Sledge because Sledge is the best item in the game. These builds are all going to be somewhat similar for the most part, just all the way around. And then we're going to go into a Genji to get you the CDR you need because you're Tyr. You want to be able to spam your shit. Then you're going to grab a Heartseeker so you can fuck people up. Get the pen, get the damage, get everything you need. and then you're gonna pick up the void. These builds are all really standard. If anything changes, they have a lot of magic damage. Shift your void shield into a magic defense item. Shift the whole build forward, so you'd be selling boots for void shield. Really whatever it is you need. Also, this is a more damagey aggressive build out of the soul laners right now because they don't have the sustain to just sit in your face for a long time. So they want to do damage. They want to get in, do damage. Wait a second, get in, do damage. Wait a second. That's why they have full CDR. They're able to spam a little bit, but not playing around full sustain like usual with these builds. That's why you're seeing them shift a little bit. You're not seeing the spirit robe every game. You're not seeing the Oni hunter's garb every game. You're not seeing the things that make it so you take less damage while you're CC'd. You're seeing items that make it so you are not CC'd, like the sledge. Like you're seeing that CCR come out. Really strong item. And here's your full build. Shouldn't be surprising. Ability leveling. This is where I'm not 100% sure. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys bullshit. I don't make this stuff up. I haven't watched any of the top level players play solo lane yet because they're playing weird shit and doing weird shit. A lot of them aren't streaming right now. Realistically, because you're lacking sustain on tier, and I'm guessing in general you're probably just gonna max the 2, you're gonna max the 1, you're gonna max the 3, you're gonna max the ult. The 2 is gonna give you the sustain when you're in defense stance, and then it's still gonna allow you to clear, so you're gonna be able to group it all up and then 2 and just clear away, so it won't be too big of a deal. So 2, 1, 3 ults on the abilities. There's number 3 on our list, number 4 on our list. This is where a lot of the lower end players, I bet you they just start baby raging, but I literally consistently see this doing well. Very consistently see this doing well. Even if you haven't seen it yet, you will punish people with this build because people think sustain is gone and they're not building anti-heal. You're not seeing a lot of anti-heal at all right now. Starter items are still the same. We're going in a teleport glyph. We're getting a blink because you're King Arthur. You want to be able to engage and wreck people. Going into our starter items, our Warrior's Blessing. And then we are rushing a little bit different. We're not rushing into boots right away. You can rush boots. It's not bad. You 100% can rush boots because then you're still going the sustain. You can go the... I always forget the name of the item. You don't get the Chalice of Healing with the extra multi-potions. You just get a lot of health and a lot of multi-potions. Get whatever you want. If you decide to rush boots because you're going boots 1 into those health pots. Or if you're feeling confident, try this out a little bit. You're going to rush into the Soul Eater. So you're going to start Spike Gauntlet and those health pots. And then before you get boots, you're going to finish Soul Eater. This is going to give you that sustain you need. You're still tanky from Warrior's Blessing. And then you're going to go into tank boots. Tank boots were already being picked up on King Arthur before this patch. And then the fact that you're a little bit squishier, it's going to bring Reinforced Greaves in and have them be super powerful along with the CCR on the boots. Because then you compare the CCR on the boots with Sledge. So do this. And then we're going into breastplate. Once again, move everything forward, throw a runic shield in here. If you're against magical, it'll help you survive in lane a little bit longer. Then we're picking up the sledge. That's giving you 40% CCR. So right here, you have power, you have the healing off of your abilities that you'd be lacking, you have pen, and you have cooldown. Then we go over here, you got CCR. Then we go over here, you have more cooldown, 30%. Boom, awesome. Then we have the sledge, which gives you that other 20% CCR. So we're at 40% CCR. Then we can go into Genji's right here. That's going to give us our 40% cooldown. It's going to give us more magic defense that we may be lacking. And then we're good to go. All right, so we're five items deep. Last item can be a Heart Seeker if you're looking to do more damage. And then you can sell boots for that Void Shield and round out the full build. Once again, if it's crit hunters on the other team, something that's really annoying, this can be a Spectral Armor to negate that crit damage and make them a little bit less useful against you. There's your full build sold with boots. Next up is number 1 on the list, which is still just super fucking powerful and super fucking annoying. It's Achilles, number 1 on the list. He really hasn't changed at all either. Just these gods didn't go through as much of a shift. It's just that whole lane doesn't have as much sustain, so they're actually more gankable because they're a little bit lower all the time. And then the gods that do have some sustain in their kit or some way to sustain, like Achilles, like Tyr, they end up doing a little bit better. So it is really nice to play them. And you're still going blink, still going the same stuff. Starter item is still going to be Warrior's Blessing, still going to go into booties, and then you're going to go into your standard build that we've been talking about. Your Breastplate of Valor, your Sledge to give you a little bit more damage and still keep you tanky. I can't fucking click on items for some reason right now. So you got Breastplate, you've got Sledge, you've got Genjis to get you more CDR. Once again, these can be Onis if you want them to be. If you aren't worried about the CDR, you're worried about being CC'd, you can, but with the amount of CCR, the amount of reduced time of you being CC'd, that's what the CCR does. It reduces the time that you are CC'd. It just makes it better to just get CDR for yourself. Genji's right there. We're getting that Heart Seeker for that damage, and then we're getting that Void Shield. and it's the same ending. You can sell boots for what you need. You can grab a runic if you need to shift it all forward because you're against magical. Bingo bango. You've got your Achilles though. Fantastic. Achilles playstyle hasn't changed. None of these guys playstyles have changed. You just have to realize you don't have that extra sustain. You can't just literally stand there and pound into anybody you want because your health's gonna be going up. It's gonna stay relatively the same. It's gonna go down a little bit because you're super fucking tanky, but you're not gonna have that healing, that consistent healing outside of Warrior's Blessing, because that's all you're gonna have. Let's play the King Arthur build. There's your top 5 solos right now. This is gonna change around a lot as builds change, as items get nerfed, as people try stuff. Like I said, nobody's really streaming in the pro level, the high level. I've watched a couple minor league players. I've watched ranked of some of the high level players to see who they're playing against, what they're playing against, what the people are building. And this is what they're building. These are like a build. I pulled a bunch of build off for like Scene Variety Play, who's a pro player. Like I said, a couple minor league players. I'm not gonna throw their names out there, but this is the build. These are the builds that are consistently doing well. I see these solo laners just kind of beating ass, to be completely honest. So try it out. Let me know what you guys think. Drop comments below and tell me which of the top 5 you want next. This was really requested because, like I said, nobody's streaming or creating content around the solo lane right now. So I figured I'd throw this out. And tell me what you guys want next. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the video later today.